Welcome back to the 1111 Synchronized broadcast. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope this is meeting and greeting you in the best spirits, staying safe, staying clean and healthy. Everyone just take a deep breath in and let it out. Yes, so today we are going to talk about the tools of yoga. And with me, I have two returning special guests. So stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss that. Different perspectives, and you're going to want to hear that conversation. So thank you all for joining me talking about yoga today. Now, what is yoga? Now, according to Wikipedia, yoga is a group of physical, mental, and spiritual practices or disciplines which originated in ancient India. All right, so the practice of yoga has been taught, for a very long time. It's basically different postures, different exercises, if you will, different stretches, but it all connects to every aspect of our body, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, those bodies. And so I'm going to mainly talk about what yoga means to me, the benefits it's been for me personally. If you're interested in yoga, this is definitely a great time to find those home workouts, right? And find what works for you, find what feels good. And so for those who are looking to research yoga, the tools are available. Check out your best friend Google and holla at that and look into that, definitely. But for those who are kind of like wanting to get into yoga but may be apprehensive or may feel like it's not for you, it is, and this is the place to be. So thank you for tuning in. You're here for a reason, and yoga has so many benefits in it. And I was reading a little bit, and the ultimate goal of yoga is liberation, right? Now, freedom is our birthright, right? That can never be taken away. We can relinquish it if we choose because we have free will, but freedom is our birthright and our absolute state that we are always worthy of receiving love and receiving freedom no matter what phase we're in. We're always worthy. And that's what yoga reminds us. It reminds us to come back to the breath, which is spirit. It reminds us to be present in the moment, which is now. And it reminds us of just how powerful we are, how we are here to co-create. We are here to manifest. We are here to set our intentions, right? We're not just letting life pass us by or let life happen to us. We are here to create with that. And so life is never happening to you. It is always happening for you. And so getting on the mat can help remind you of these things. And so a lot of times, we might feel like, oh, that's just stretches, that's just exercise. But it's so much more, and whatever your reasons are for getting involved in yoga, they're all legitimate, they're all valid, they're all unique. And even if there is no reason to get involved in yoga, it's a great practice to do. And I do say practice because it is a practice, It's something that you have to start and continue and be consistent with. And you have to also love yourself for days when you're not consistent, where you fall off the horse, right? You get back up, dust yourself off, keep it moving. And so the tools of yoga can be very beneficial for us, and we all have our own personal journeys, right? But what yoga actually means, the word means yoke, right? The yoke is light. The burden is light, the yoke is easy. But it also means union. And when I think of that, it's like you're uniting with yourself, right? That's what we're all doing. We're all here to walk each other back home to our true selves. Not this mask, not the masquerade, not the status quo, not the 3D dimension that we're in, but to our true selves. And our true purpose is to find oneness. Now, what is oneness? I'm glad you asked. I did an entire episode on oneness in the very first season. So check that out if you're interested in learning more about oneness, because that is the truth, is that we're all one. So it's breaking down those limiting beliefs of, racism, sexism, basically all the isms are dismantled because you come into that place of stillness where truth and surrender meet. So we unite with bliss and enlightenment. And it's also a union of all the elements, right? We are everything is us. So all the elements, regardless of what star you're born under or what is in your birth chart, you have all the elements coursing through you, working for you, and tapping into those different frequencies and those different energies behind the elements. And when I say elements, I mean earth, wind, fire, and earth. They all are within us. And when you engage in yoga, you really tap into that, right? You're connected to the earth. You're connected to that fire in your belly. You're connected to the breath, the air, and you're connected to water as you flow through these different poses. It also unites the divine masculine, divine feminine. Again, we have all these energies within us. If you want to hear more about that, I did an entire episode on the law of gender. It is a universal law, universal principle that operates whether we're conscious of it or not. We have divine masculine and divine feminine entities within us. And the tools of yoga can help merge those entities and help bridge that gap of separation. And we realize that we can be fully masculine even if we are women. We can be fully feminine even if we are men. We have both of these entities within us, and it's balancing them out and creating that union between that within ourselves. It also is a unity of the spirit, the mind, and the body, and the emotions, right? So the body, when I say body, I mean physical, mental, and emotional. So it's a closure, if you will, of the spirit, mind, the mental mind, the physical body, and our emotional bodies. It bridges all of those together, you know. If you're not in the mood for yoga, oftentimes it can help shift your mood and bring you to a higher state beforehand. So for me, yoga is a dedication. Yoga is a practice that I'm consistently doing for about, 5 years or so now. Hasn't always been consistent, but it becomes something consistent for me. For myself, one of my shadow aspects, if you will, could be a fear of commitment. And so one way is to commit to showing up on the mat every day. And that really helps illuminate those aspects, right? And it doesn't come from a place of obligation. It comes from a place of willingness. It comes from a place of pure joy of really wanting to do this, right? And so that's the other thing, is like learning to do what resonates, right? So not being so rigid or so committed that you just go with emotions and not allow for new information, not allow for spontaneous events, right? It's not doing it out of rigidity. It's doing it out of a practice, right? It's doing it out of commitment. It's choosing to show up daily because I enjoy it. I feel better after I do yoga. Whether I do it in the morning, do it at night. The days I don't do yoga, you might as well just not even talk to me because I'm going to feel out of alignment. Same with meditation. The days I don't do that, feeling out of alignment. Again, there are episodes on meditation that you can check out, and there's also an episode on routine, because often we can get stuck in just going with the motions, and it can become really mundane and really dull because we're not breathing new life into it. Every day is a new day to be greeted with joy and excitement and fun and adventure, and really taking that every day, every step of the way with everything you do. And so I've been following someone on YouTube. That's basically how I started and continue. Her name is Adrienne. Some of you probably have seen her. You probably connect with her as well. Yoga with Adrienne. She has a YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrienne. She's also on Instagram at FWFG, which stands for Find What Feels Good. She definitely posts every month a different calendar for different videos that she has on YouTube. And so that really keeps me in track with staying committed, if you will, to use that word again. It helps me stay on track as doing a yoga every day by following these videos for the calendar each month. And I've never actually been to a physical class, a actual live class. So, a lot of times I was feeling like, man, am I even doing this right? But the point is, you are in tune with your body, and we can get so out of alignment with ourselves that we don't even know our bodies are what we need anymore, and instead of waiting for someone else to fill those needs or fill that void, we're able to kind of self-proclaim and have that self-expression of tending to those parts and those doing what is needed and not being identical to anyone else. It's honoring your own uniqueness. It's not trying to copy and imitate someone else's life. It's doing, hey, I can only go this far today. I can only bend this much right now, and I'm going to honor that and love myself through that and love where I'm at. And knowing that you're not going to stay where you're at, but it's honoring the process, right? And that's what I really like about yoga is it's like you just honor in the process, and before you know it, you're doing things that you didn't even realize you could do. And it's taking that time to slow down, to go in, have some introspection, and to really be at peace with all that you are, all that you bring to the table. Honoring the light and the dark that reside within us. Again, that unity, it unites the light and the dark. They're not separate. They are a reflection of each other. They need each other. And so that's what I really enjoy. Let me know what works for you. Let me know what you enjoy about yoga. And please stay tuned for the 2 special guests I have rejoining me to talk about the tools and benefits of yoga on their personal journey. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope all is well. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Also, if you are looking for, doing breath work, I did an episode about breath work. You can use that as a guide to start to usher you into that mindset as well. That may be beneficial. So I'll talk to you guys very soon. Got a new season coming up. Talk to you guys until next time. Welcome back, everyone, to the 1111 Synchronized Podcast. Have a special guest again. You may have heard him speak before on the episode about vegan. That's definitely been a fan favorite. So thank you again for joining me. We got Zenny, the Zen Master. For those who are just tuning in, please let us know something about yourself.
I really don't know what to say. I don't even remember what I said last time. All right, well,
All right,
I'm in my 30s. This is where we're talking about yoga this time. I'll say I'm in my 30s. I do yoga. I don't know what else to say.
All right. You guys heard it. This is Garen Davis, by the way, who was going to be talking about yoga. So I definitely appreciate you being here. And I wanted you to be the guest because there seems to be a common myth that men don't do yoga.
I mean, there's a little bit of reason to that myth.
Oh, yeah. Do tell.
Well, one thing I've noticed about yoga is that it's been very popularized by America, and kind of been taken over by white women. And what you can see, if you were to look at like the history of yoga in America, like the way it happened was, the first couple of teachers from India came to America. They were on the West Coast, and they started doing their classes and stuff. But the main ones that was going were white women. So when it becomes like the next generation of teachers, and it becomes like a business more than anything else, you're gonna cater towards the people that's showing up. So like if the majority of people showing up is women, you're gonna keep catering towards women and making it comfortable for women. So that's kind of like where it happens, where it gets started. By the time yoga becomes popular and like a lot of people are doing it, the majority of those people are women. So America's looking at it as, oh, the thing that the women be doing. And so men just don't go for that. And then when the men that do go there, when you actually walk into these studios, it really is very feminine. Yeah. So it's truth to it. So it's like we men really are the minority, and of students of yoga.
Yeah, it's kind of became a lucrative business of, all right, let's get all the women. Let's gather all the people who seem to be flocking to it. So I'm trying to bridge that gap because I feel like there's so many benefits of yoga, but it gets like so many other things that gets tainted by the mass consumption, And I feel like we're kind of ushering into that place of where more people might be looking to doing yoga and they might not even know why. So what were some reasons for you to start doing yoga?
I mean, I'm kind of like the majority of people that start doing yoga is like I messed my body up and needed my body to get some fixing. So like I messed my back up, and I'm not really gonna go into like the full details of that because it's kind of like a long story for me figuring out what it was. But long story short, it was my diet. Yeah, because what happened was I woke up one morning and well, not really one morning, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't get out of bed for real. Like I had to like really concentrate to get out of bed and go to the bathroom and stuff. And my back was hurting that bad, so I had to go to the doctor. And when I went to the doctor, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So they just told me like, "There's nothing wrong with you. You just don't stretch enough." And from there, I just started doing yoga. And once I started doing yoga, and I was practicing like because like when I first started, I started doing like 3 to 4 times a week, and I started noticing it was like fixing a lot more that was wrong with me than my back. And and all the real benefits of yoga kind of like crept up on me without me looking for it. And so that's how I started doing yoga. Okay.
And how did you actually like start? Like, were you going to a class? Were you doing it at home? Did you research?
My initial beginning was YouTube.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just went on YouTube and looked and like I said, like I typed in yoga, and the first things that was popping up was like a whole bunch of white girls. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wait a minute. One thing I know is that this is like whenever I think of yoga, I think of India. So I had to like find, okay, I'm gonna find me some Indians so I can make sure I'm getting the right shit.
Right.
Because one thing that I've known from my own culture, being a hip hop head, and you know, I used to rap and produce and break dance, all that shit, is being on the YouTube generation, people have absolutely no problem getting on YouTube and teaching you how to do some shit that they have no idea what it is. I've seen that example in hip hop a lot. Like you look up a hip hop tutorial of me knowing exactly what it is and seeing the people teaching it, like, nah, that's not what it is. And this shit got like 6 million views. They teaching like 6 million people to do the wrong shit.
Right.
Me having that fear of that happening through yoga, I was like, let me find some Indians that I actually believe know what the fuck going on. And I stumbled upon Yoga Vidya.
What was it?
Yoga Vidya. And so I watched their beginning classes, and that's where I got started doing that. And then from there, I found a yoga studio that I was going to.
Nice.
And then just like I did with YouTube, I scouted them out and like did a lot of research on each studio that I was looking at to make sure that I was going to the right kind of place.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I think it's definitely important to like get the right source that you can trust and believe in and reliable and true to the authenticity of the practice, you know?
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's become such a business and it kind of takes out that integrity. It can, at least, you know. And you also mentioned like you weren't getting enough stretches, like when your back was having a little bit of difficulty. Now, what's the difference between stretching and yoga? Is there a difference?
Yeah, there's a huge difference. All right, so what the mainstream, you know, what the general public, I'll say, I think general public is a better word, but yeah, what the general public thinks is yoga is really the yoga asanas. And another thing, I'm not really like an expert on this stuff. I just know a little bit about a little bit. But to kind of like dumb it down to my level of understanding of it, it's like so let's say yoga is all about meditation and that getting into that state of meditation. And so if you're meditating, you're doing yoga. And that's like the people that started the asanas. The asanas were created. Well, asanas are the yoga poses. What we think of, you know, what I'm saying, yoga. That's really like the yoga asanas. Those are the yoga poses. The person that started the yoga poses, they started doing those as a means to help them get to the state of meditation. So everything is in yoga is meant to bring to that state of meditation. So the difference between the asanas and just stretching is stretching, you're stretching. The asanas are really like just poses that you get into, and they stretch your body. The poses stretch your body out. The more you do
them. Yeah. Nice. So with that, do you have to be spiritual to do yoga?
Nah, because yoga's the kind of shit that'll make you spiritual. if you're not, you'll get there.
Nice. Well said. And now, so again, for like the audience of men who may want to do yoga, but either feel like I'm trying to bulk up, I'm trying to get muscle mass, like, is there a way to do yoga and gain strength?
Oh, well, yoga, yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, yoga builds strength.
Mm-hmm.
As one talking about muscle mass, you're not losing muscle mass. You'll lose fat, but you won't lose muscle mass, and it builds strength 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Especially core strength and leg strength.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to bring it down for all the beginners, because I feel like there could be, again, that myth of like, I won't get the strength that I want. And usually it's people who haven't tried yoga who might think that. But do you also combine any other exercises with your yoga practice?
Me personally, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yoga days is basically just yoga days. If I'm gonna do yoga today, I'm probably not gonna be doing no weights and nothing else, or especially because, like, doing yoga, depending on the practice you're doing, you get a cardio workout with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not to mention, if you think that you're not gonna be building strength doing yoga, just try it. It's how tired your muscles are when you're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how long have you been doing yoga?
Probably about 5 or 6 years.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, and lastly, just in closing, what would you say to those people who are like, yoga just isn't for me? I'm too old. I'm too overweight. I'm just out of shape. It's just not for me.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that I've come across a lot is so there's no age preference, there's no size or weight preference, there's no flexibility. Because another one that's big is I'm not flexible enough. Mm-hmm. It's like, you do it to your own capabilities.
Yeah.
And so you do what you can, and it's one of those things where yoga, if you do it, like I said, the best way to do yoga is like 3 to 4 times a week. And if you do it constantly enough, you keep it to 3 or 4 times a week, you won't even realize that you're getting deeper and deeper into the poses. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying, it kind of like sneaks up on you. So it's like, just do it. So what I'm saying is that for everybody that thinks about doing yoga, just do it. Like, just pick up your mat, find a place you can trust, do 3 to 4 times a week. And if you do that for a month, and if you still don't like it, well then, all right, cool. It ain't for you. But if it is for you, the benefits is going to be out of this world for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, my friend. Well, thank you again for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let us know how we can connect with you on social media.
I'm on Instagram, Zen757, and the same on Twitter. And that's basically all I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, y'all. Stay tuned until next time.
All right, thank you.
Later. Welcome back to the 1111 Synchronized Podcast. I have a special guest. You may have heard her from the intro episode of this season about tarot. We have Keisha Daniels joining me again. Say hello to the people. Tell us anything for those who are just joining us about yourself.
Hello, guys. And again, thank you, Keandra, for having me. It's always a pleasure and honor to share any jewels that I have with the world. So basically, just a little bit about myself. Young, inspired light worker, yoga teacher. I teach other things when it comes to spiritual modalities, but especially yoga. So that is my area, and that's something I'm very passionate about. I teach beginner to advanced level yogi. So all of my classes, whether they're virtual, online, which right now all of them are because of coronavirus, even if they're face to face, they are all beginner friendly, and it's deeper and bigger than just doing yoga. My classes is more about leadership and really looking and finding the power within you to kind of pull yourself and bring yourself forward in life.
Yes, I love that. Thank you again. I'm very honored to have you here to talk about yoga and the benefits of it. And I love that you're incorporating leadership into it as well. It's not just yoga. I love that.
Thank
It's
you.
inspiring people. Absolutely. So tell me, when did you first get into yoga?
So the first time that I was really introduced to the word or the term yoga and seeing it was about 2012. Maybe it might have been 2013, like going into the winter of 2013. Mm-hmm. And it's been going since. The first time I seen it, I was actually on Instagram on the Explore page, and I had seen a young lady do this beautiful back bend, and I was like, wow, that would be amazing to do that. I was like, but my body's, I'm not flexible. I was like, I've never been flexible. So I said, that's pretty cool that somebody could do that. Well, something told me to click on her profile, and I scrolled back, and I was just scrolling, and like 3 years prior to that, she couldn't do the back bend, and she had a post saying, inspiring to get there. And so when I seen like, if she couldn't do that and she can do it now, then that means there's some type of physical transformation that I can make to my body and work towards getting it. And when I accepted that, I said, this is not just about physical work. This is mental work. This is spiritual work with believing that you can take something and transform it into something else. So that's where it really started for me.
No. Hold on.
I apologize.
You there? Okay.
Hello?
All right. We're good now. Yeah. Good on your end? A little technical difficulties. A little mood music,
So sorry about that.
No worries. It happens. See, and that's exactly what you just said. The tools of yoga is mental.
Exactly.
Yeah. You experience a challenge and you keep moving.
Yes.
And I love that you also said, like, you saw this person doing this pose, this back bend, and you thought, well, that's nice for them. I feel like a lot of people might have that limiting mindset of like, I'm not flexible enough. That's for those people. It's not for me. Like, what would you say to people who are like, I'm not flexible enough, I'm too old, I'm too overweight, I'm too this, those type of mindsets?
I'm glad you asked that question, because it's more than most people actually do have that limiting mindset, that they had put all of these limits and feel defeated before they even step on their mat or before they even practice. And so I would definitely tell them, like, you weren't a college grad before you graduated from college, right? Until you went to math class. And so you're not expected to be great when you begin, but everybody has to start somewhere. So I tell my students, because even some of my students that are, kind of halfway consistent, that kind of, heart's halfway there, I really try and push that to them too. Find out why you want to start something. And your why will be enough to get you through that, like, oh, I'm too big for this, or I'm too, I'm not flexible enough for this. It's really about, like I was saying, just knowing that you really have everything already created and designed within you to accomplish things. So, and that's another reason why yoga transforms itself automatically from just being a physical practice to spiritual, because when somebody can see themselves this week not be able to do a back bend or not be able to stand up and touch their toes, and then a week or a month from now they can do that, it's more than just saying, wow, my body can do that. It's a spiritual transformation that you allowed yourself to believe and work towards something that basically gave you a end result that you was looking for. So it's just like anything else you set your mind to accomplish. When you make a goal to make $500 in your business that week and you make it, do you know the energy that you feel inside of you, the excitement and the honor that you feel, how proud you are? It's the same thing with yoga. When you get on that mat and there's a pose or there's a flow that you want to practice and can't get, and then you get it and you see that progress, it's a level that it just takes you to that it makes you proud, and it makes you hunger for more.
Yeah, exactly. It's that motivation of those accomplishments, seeing that you do create your own reality. It's possible.
Yes.
You are more than capable of this. And I like that you said, like, finding the why. Why are you getting on this mat? Why are you starting? What was the why for you? Why did you start?
For me, my why, it's easy because yoga for me before, and I had to just give you a quick backdrop. And Keandra, you know this because you know me for like 15 years now. But for those of you who don't know me, when I was in my early 20s, I was like over 200 pounds at one point. And I had never, even though I thought I was pretty, I had pretty hair, and that's what everybody would say. Oh, you got pretty hair, but it was just something that I wasn't confident about. It was just I didn't feel sexy. I didn't feel like I couldn't find that feminine part about myself. I would try and cover up certain things just because I didn't know how to, really tap into that energy. And that was when I seen that yoga pose, I was like, she looks feminine, like she looks sexy. She looks like she loves herself. And that's what my why was. It was like, okay, you've lost 80 pounds, Keisha. What can you do with your body to continue to fall in love with it every day, to find something that makes you look at your body every day and make you say, what can I do to continue this journey and make it a lifestyle of being healthy and not just losing weight and just to do it for the summertime, fine, but to create a genuine lifestyle to, again, not only help me, but to help my family, to help inspire other people to take control of their health. That was my why. And so days when I don't feel like doing yoga, because I'm gonna be honest, there's days when I don't feel like doing one-on-ones. I want to sometimes just ride around and just chill. But I remember my why. And that why, again, is the same thing that I want to teach to other people. Your why don't have to be like mine, and it's deeper, and it's even deeper than my why turned into purpose. Now, when I started yoga, I didn't know there was purpose in it. And so that's why I say the why is so important, because you can always refer back to it.
Absolutely. I love that. And thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Because it's that purpose that drives you. And it's one thing I hear a lot is the way you move on the mat is the way you move off the mat too. And so those principles of yoga can be applied to every aspect of your life,
Absolutely.
Now, for those people who may be skeptical and feel like, isn't yoga just a religion? What is yoga to you?
For me, yoga is it's a time for self-worship. And I don't say that in a vain way. I don't say that in a way to be like, oh, I'm getting on the mat to worship Keisha and hold her up. But you have to take time for yourself and take time to put energy into your breath. And that is what yoga is. It focuses on taking the unity of your body and your mind and your breath and connecting it and allowing it to flow and move together. And so even a beginner person that will honor their breath, because let's admit, if that's the one thing that was knocked out of your body right now, you would be dead. So to honor your breath just by saying, wow, I can take in these deep breaths and I can flow through this. It's something about it, again, that's what takes it from that physical to the spiritual aspect of it. And then everybody will look at it like, oh, well, then, how does it become spiritual? When you understand what spirituality is, then you can separate it from religion. Religion is a set of tools or rules that it's like you have to follow. That's not what yoga is. Yoga has a set of principles, and principles are things that cannot be changed, they cannot be manipulated. And so you can find these principles like breath work and focusing and meditation and yoga and those things. You cannot argue with them. You can't tie it to a religion, because religion uses it, but it becomes spiritual because it's connecting you as one person and connecting you to everybody. Versus separating.
Exactly. It's about that oneness.
Yes.
And I love the fact that spirituality, it's a personal choice. It's not an obligation.
Right.
It's not you have to do these things and live by these or else. It's like, no, I chose this. So I'm going to ask a double question. What is your favorite pose, and what was the most challenging pose for you?
One of my poses are splits. And I will say that because that was one of my limiting beliefs when I did begin yoga. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that my body was not flexible before I started yoga. But you can ask people that know me now, and they'll be like, "Oh, Keisha's always been flexible her whole life," and I'm like, "You don't know me. Like, you don't know that I was called a tree in dance practice at church because I didn't know how to move, and I didn't know how to feel comfortable with myself, and so I was like a stiff tree, and so that that again, that's just one of the things, and it goes back to my why." Why I got started, but I would definitely say a split was one of those things that I felt like felt defeated about. Like, I don't think I ever do it. But as soon as I let it go, it took me exactly 8 weeks to get a full split. Wow. And that right there did it for me. I was like, if I can do this, I can do anything. Because I got the back bend. When I started and I seen that back bend, I eventually got that maybe a couple weeks. But that split, it took work. It took.
Oh, snap.
And so.
Go ahead.
It's a busy Thursday. It's gracious. I'm so sorry, guys.
No worries. All right. So before we head out, yeah, no worries. And I know you have for those who are going to connect with you, you have your own like practice, and you're a teacher. You're a yoga teacher. Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh man.
I'm so sorry about that. I got so many people trying to call right now. I'm sorry, I'll leave it.
Popping, hotline bling. All right. But no, I was just saying, like, because you are a yoga teacher and you connect with so many people, whether it's doing a camp of 200 people or doing one-on-ones, you are doing it and you are inspiring the community. So tell us how we can get in touch with you. Tell us about the Karma Thursdays. Is it Thursdays?
It's actually on Wednesdays.
Okay, so, tell us
definitely
how we can get in contact.
You can add me on Facebook. I do have a yoga page on Facebook, and it's KD Yoga. So it's like K as in Keisha, D as in Daniels, and then the word yoga. That is my business page on Facebook. You can like me on there. If you have a business, like me with your business, and I'll like your business page back. We can support each other. My personal Facebook page, which is perfectly fine, to add and follow me there too, because I do share a lot of things that reach a lot of people there too. And that's Keisha Daniels on Facebook. And you can look for me in a burgundy top and I have locks. Other than that, I have an Instagram page, and it's Coach Keisha. Coach is spelled with a K. So Coach, Koach, Keisha. And that's where I represent one part of my business that is outside of yoga, but it still ties into health and wellness and all that. And then my other yoga page, and I want to work on integrating these guys, is KD Yoga. And yoga has 5 A's on it.
I love it.
Last but not least, I do have an active website, and I can spell that out for you. It's Carrie Space, and I use that to offer education on astrology, tarot, yoga, chakra balancing, things like that. And you can also find my contact information on there as well. So Carrie Space is KARRYSPACE. So carriespace.com.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Again. You guys reach out. Absolutely, man. And reach out, connect, get these products, holla at your girl. Stay tuned until next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.